Hello once again and welcome to another edition of Top 5 Tuesday. Today we are focusing on the youthful ones in the country music world. Now a lot of people in their country music careers get their start in their 20s, maybe their 30s. Some people don't hit it big until they're in their 40s or 50s, but for some special talents, they find fame and fortune in their teen years. And that's what we're going to focus on, the top 5 teenaged country stars. At number 5, we've got Marty Stewart, who got his start in the country music world at the tender age of just 13 when he was a starry-eyed kid from Mississippi, but he was an expert at all things stringed instruments. Lester Flatt saw him perform, and the bluegrass legend knew he needed this up-and-comer in his band, and he would join Lester Flatt's touring band as a mandolin player and stayed there for 6 years, then release a debut album, and he has been a star in the country music world ever since. Marty Stewart, he comes in at number 5. At number 4, Allison Krauss, infusing a little more bluegrass to our list. Allison, she was another prodigy, just 12 years old when people started taking notice of her fiddle playing. By the age of 15, she had a record deal. By the age of 18, she had won the first of what would be 21 Grammy Awards, one of the most decorated artists in country music and bluegrass history. 1993, she became a member of the Grand Ole Opry. She was the first bluegrass artist to be inducted to the Opry in 29 years. She continues to rack up the accolades, always one of the best. And it started as a teen for Allison Krauss. She comes in at number 4. At number 3, Leann Rimes. Who could forget when Leann burst onto the scene in 1996 with a cover of Patsy Cline's Blue? Amazing vocals from the then 13-year-old Rimes. That song would garner her a Grammy and a CMA award. It was a few years later she released How Do I Live? That sold more than 3 million copies and spent a record-setting 309 weeks on the country sales chart. And just in her teenage years, she sold 15 million albums. Leann Rimes has to be on this list. She comes in at number 3. At number 2, Tanya Tucker, another vocalist who burst onto the scene at the tender age of 13 when Delta Dawn hit the charts in 1972, was a colossal hit, and she followed that up with some more throughout the 70s. Had a bit of a rough start to the 80s, but by the end of the decade, she was back on top, and in 1991, she was the Female Vocalist of the Year at the CMA Awards. Tanya Tucker, number 2 on our list of teenaged country stars. Number 1 on our list, though, it's got to be Taylor Swift. You take a look at her career, and it all started so young for her. Her first big hit, Our Song, was actually written for a school talent show, and it ends up being a number 1 song in the country charts for 6 weeks. She sold 10 million albums as a teen, was selling out arenas, and continues to go strong as one of the biggest names in music today. It all started as a teen. She's our number 1 teenage country star of all time, Taylor Swift, and that is this week's Top 5 Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back again next week with a brand new countdown.